If you are saying that you want a lot of money, but a lot of money isn't showing up, do you really want a lot of money? I want to dive into today something that hit me hits me repeatedly in the face like a big fishtail, and that is this conversation of like if I say I want something and it's not showing up, do I really want it? And I was in the book The Gift of Allowance by Gary Douglas today, and this is the conversation that really popped out at me. For me today personally, there's a lot of just kind of itchy grumpiness going on. And that's when I'm going through a period of great change. I don't know about you guys. I that energy comes up a lot more. And the reason I picked up this book is because when I'm grumpy and itchy, the thing that I don't have a lot of is allowance. Hi. And allowance is where everything is just an interesting point of view. Everybody's choices, my choices, all the energies I'm aware of, all that whatever's happening in my body, everything's just an interesting point of view. That's allowance. It's different than acceptance, where you have to accept what's going on. This is just like I'm an allowance of there's a lot of stuff going on. And I have a lot of stuff going on. There's an international move happening again on Tuesday. I'm packing my things. I'm selling some stuff. I'm interacting with a lot of people that I wouldn't normally interact with. So there's stuff for sure. There's a lot of change happening in my body. But I always have the choice. You and I always have the choice for happiness if we choose it. And that is an ongoing exploration for me. So when I'm looking for a tool, one of the things I'll do is I'll open up one of the books that is just an incredible shifter of energy. And Gary Douglas just came out with this book called The Gift of Allowance. And this video, by the way, is day 4 in my series of 30 videos I'm doing around the 30-day coach setup program that we have going on right now. And allowance is incredibly relevant for getting yourself set up to do something different with your life, because you got to do a lot of things that you don't necessarily love to do. So I would love for you to take this conversation and apply it to wherever you are with it. I'm in chapter 5. What are you willing to do or be? And by the way, if you want to get right here, if you want to get a list of the 32 books that are changing my life the most, go to crystaljoycrawford.com/reads and you can get your copy of those books. All right, let's talk about this. Why what you want isn't showing up. Chapter 5. In order to create the life that you desire, you've got to be willing to be whatever it takes to become everything that you wish to become with no point of view. It doesn't require a point of view. It just requires a choice. So let's say you made a choice to be happy. This is the choice for me that I'm like, I don't want to be happy. I want to be unhappy. The world is filled with people who are frantically in search of happiness. Hi. So whether by means of relationships or fame or money or success, the brass ring on this merry-go-round is simply happiness. People work tirelessly to achieve success or make money with their noses on the grindstone. All the while, happiness is tapping them on the shoulder, but they wave it off because they're trying to succeed or make money in order to find happiness. I know nothing of what he speaks. Their unwillingness to just let happiness happen is lost in their search for happiness. Pretty mixed up. But it begs the question, would you be willing to give up the hunt for happiness in order to be happy? This is an excellent question, Gary Douglas. In order to be happy, you have to be happy. And that's it, without the judgments about whether you deserve to be happy or not. It's just a choice. And the other thing that I will do with happiness is I will base it on something. So like if this was happening, I would be happy. And that there's a big list of things there. So, but he's getting into a bigger point, and it's this. If you could choose anything, what would you choose? What do you truly desire to create? What would your life be like if you were to invent yourself and create yourself moment by moment? All that would be required is your willingness to let go of the definitions and the decisions that you created that would limit what you would or would not do to create what you desire. For you to see and choose different possibilities than you've ever chosen before, you have to shift your attitude. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes to get where you truly wish to be, including being happy. People say, I want to have lots of money. And I ask them, okay, are you willing to be or do whatever it takes? Well, everything except hurting somebody. Everything except walking over dead people. I mean, we're being a little extreme here, but everything except, and then you fill in the blank. I would be willing to do everything except fill in the blank. So you're not going to do whatever it takes to get money. You mean I'd have to do that? And this is where we get all twisted around a tree. Because, like, we think that not being willing to kill anybody or do anything or any of those bad things is ethical. We've decided that ethical is kind of like the top of the thing. But the thing with ethics is that they are a judgment system wrapped in velvet. And anything that's a judgment system is going to limit what you can choose. So they go, well, you mean I'd have to do that? He goes, no. But if you are willing to do whatever it takes to get the money, then the vast majority of the time you'll never have to do that thing. But because you're willing to, the universe will start shifting to make your life a different reality. Now, this is exactly what I'm experiencing right now. I've experienced this a lot, but right now it's very, very, very present in that, I've been reading from that 10x is easier than 2x book, that thing where I'm like, okay, much greater than I've chosen so far. And I'm willing to do whatever I need to do that. I will let go of this. I will form this. I will create this. I will be this. I will choose this, whatever it takes. And so that's what's happening is the universe will start shifting to make your life a different reality. And so the other thing I want to add to this is that when you are choosing like that and the universe is shifting everything and what you're asking for is showing up in a totally different way than you thought it would, then another side effect of that can be grumpiness. That you are choosing more than you've ever chosen before. Things are changing in a way that you've never experienced before. The whole universe is shifting around to support what you're asking for. And that is all happening energetically and very likely not being acknowledged. So that can be another facet to grumpiness, just FYI. So you mean I'd have to do that stuff? He goes, no, but if you're willing, the universe will start shifting to make your life a different reality. So it's a matter of being rather than doing. These are questions you have to function from. Are you listening? What can I be and do that's different, that would create a different reality? What would I have to be or do to change this in totality, whatever this is? And they want to just notice any judgments that come up for you around this. Are you willing to be and do whatever it takes? Or do you have caveats in place? I will do this if it doesn't mean this. I will do this, but not really that. I will do this, but are your caveats that are limiting what you can choose and what can show up. So the only reason you can't change something is because there's something you're not willing to be or something you're not willing to do. Isn't that great? So realize that when you come to the judgment of what you won't do, you come to the conclusions that the only options you have are bound up in this conclusion. So how many of you guys notice that you kind of stay in the should I stay or should I go reality? Like you have limited options, limited choices. Well, I can't because, or this won't work because, or what, how many of you guys notice that you get yourself stuck in a limited menu of choice? So that's like, what am I not willing to be and what am I not willing to do that would allow this to change with total ease? Realize, so what would it take to get a ton of money? What would you have to be or do to make that a reality? That's a great question to ask yourself. What would I have to be or do to get a ton of money? What would I have to be to get a ton of money? What would I have to do to get a ton of money? People who want a ton of money frequently tell me, but I'd have to work so hard to get it, right? You already have the underlying point of view that I can't have this because I'd have to work hard. That's one choice out of infinite possibilities. So, but if you really desired something, wouldn't you work that hard? I would. This is Gary talking. He goes, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get what I want in life. are you. The creation of your life is up to you. You have to realize that you cannot make anybody else do anything. You can only demand of yourself that you make whatever change you need to make in order to get what you want in life. When you make the demand of you to create, the universe will have your back. Demand is total allowance. It's the choice you make to create without any points of view or judgments. You are the only one who can choose to keep holding on to or to let go of all the judgments and the points of view that you've used to limit your creations. And Boise said, I want to create my life where I use my natural traits to achieve my targets. Is there an alternative question to that question? Oof. I might have gotten two different moments mashed up. But I would really pull from this section in this book and pull out the questions that I've already talked about. It's like, what would I have to be or do to create this? And why you want, so the topic of this, why what you want isn't showing up, is in this paragraph that I'm about to read now. Realize that if you're not getting what you say you want, it's because you don't truly want it. You got to stop pretending that this or that is what you want and allow yourself to look at what you are actually creating. For example, I was talking with a woman about how she just doesn't know whether she can stay married to her husband. I asked her what was going on, and she said, well, what it boils down to is that he grew up with money, invested it really badly, and lost everything. And now he thinks that something should be given to him. Perhaps because her husband came from a privileged class, he believes he is supposed to have money. Therefore, he doesn't understand why people don't give it to him. He's not willing to do whatever it takes to create it. So anyway, it goes on with this story. But the point of this story, which I think is the thing I want to tell you, is that you have to be willing to make the demand of yourself that no matter what it takes, you're going to succeed. No matter what it takes, you're going to get money. No matter what you have to do, you're going to get this. When you function from that point of view, the universe does everything it can to contribute to you. And that is being in allowance of your needs. Now, I don't know if I've ever really put together that being demanding of yourself is being an allowance of you. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, but that's being an allowance of your needs, what you desire to have as your life, what you want to have as creation and your reality. Allowance for that is going, cool, whatever it takes, I'm having that. Now, when it isn't showing up, when you say you want something and it isn't showing up, it's because you don't really want it. And this is really interesting. This is an interesting antidote that Gary suggests. He goes, stop pretending that this is what you want and allow yourself to look at what you are actually creating. So I want to kind of wrap this little nugget up with, if what you want isn't showing up, what would it take to be willing to look at what you're actually creating? What am I actually creating here? With my choices, with my life, what am I actually, that's the thing that I want, that I'm not acknowledging that I want. And allowance for me would be to look at what I'm really creating and have allowance for it and go, would I be willing to demand of myself something else? All right. So that's it for today, day 4. Check out this book list, you guys. It's awesome. Those are 32 of my favorite books. It's a free download for you. Like so much wealth in that list. And I will see you back here tomorrow.